What's happening? It's Larry Loudpack bringing you the latest in cannabis news and culture. In here, as usual, with the man, the myth, Malik, the manager.
Who the fuck are y'all?
I don't know who these niggas is, man. Hey, and this is Fuego News. Let's get it. Snoop Dogg is starting Death Row Cannabis brand after recently acquiring the record label along with the rights to the name and the logo. The products will first be available at select cookie stores throughout California, including Brentwood, San Bernardino, and San Diego, starting January 2nd, 2023. What you think about that one, man?
Hey, him trying to blend the label with the weed or with just like the cannabis culture in general, it's allowing these kids to see just more blends of business. And that's what I could really appreciate too, right? A lot of these kids have no idea who the fuck Death Row Records is, right? So if
you've heard it though.
You heard of it, right? Right. But like, what really is Death Row Records, right? Like,
to us, we know what it is, but yeah, a lot of kids probably.
A lot of these these new cannabis consumers, you know what I'm saying? Like, some of these kids came into the game off of 30% weed. They was smoking. You know what I'm saying?
They confused right now.
Confused.
Motherfuckers is upside down right now.
Exactly. So just seeing him blend the businesses is just very admirable.
You think we see Bad Boy weed?
I don't know. I mean, it would make sense for Puff to do so. You having the largest black cannabis company in America.
Just the brand recognition off of just Death Row. Like, instead of coming in and creating a fully new brand.
You're right.
But Snoop Dogg's brand is arguably bigger. Probably not even arguably bigger than Death Row's, right? So, like, more people know Snoop. So he could put his face on some shit.
I mean, but then at the same time, it's like, Death Row came out with the stamp of we are for the weed. I think one of the first albums on that label was The Chronic.
Yeah,
right.
That's facts. They did have The Chronic.
That's kind of like foreshadowing. You know what I'm saying? Like, they was kind of like preaching this into existence.
They were the ones who should have done it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's facts.
Exactly.
Facts. They had a lot of weed associated with their brand in general. You know what I'm saying, before they even jumped in the game. So then, like, I wonder, when did they even get licensing and shit? Because what's crazy is how they'll announce some shit as they're dropping. Like, they already been growing the weed, had the shit ready to go. You know what I'm saying? Like, made the deals with cookies, and then they made the announcement.
Okay, well, first and foremost, this dude named AK, who is a partial owner of a lot of the cookie shops with Burner in the SoCal area, and he owns a couple of shops in Florida too, apparently.
Okay.
With them two already being in the cannabis game way before this, I would believe they already had the regulations, just like you said, already done. Paperwork already done. They already knew exactly where to grow it at. They've already had that location for probably the past 10 years because they've been growing for a minute. Snoop grows in Humboldt.
So I wonder if when they partnered up on top of AK's already existing licenses, or if they had went and got
a new license.
Cultivation licenses. Because it seemed fast to me. Like, y'all just made the announcement, but you already have had the shit in the works.
We know how long that paperwork takes.
He already has a cannabis product line. Leafs by Snoop. He launched that in 2015. Leafs by Snoop.
Okay.
Which I haven't even heard of till right now. The Italian army is growing weed for the country's medical program in an effort to make their medical cannabis program self-sufficient, planning on cultivating over 3,300 pounds a year. Their cultivation facility in Florence has been operating since 2014, but they've still been relying on imports from other countries to fill the program's requirements. That's crazy. Yo, you got the army growing your loud?
I like this, but then I don't, just due to me being an American, I guess, to be honest with you. I don't like the feds.
It's just the feds growing the weeds.
That's just very uncomfortable for me.
That doesn't feel right.
You know what I'm saying? But reading this, they gave us the history that the Italian army has been making pharmaceutical products for their people since, I think it said the 1800s.
That's so crazy how shit works so different in other countries.
Yeah.
Out here, imagine the army was Big Pharma. Like, niggas would be mad.
Yeah, we wouldn't be fucking with that.
But they already are not fucking with Big Pharma.
We are not fucking with that.
Because it's privately owned shit. So what's worse? Is it worse for it to be privately owned or federally owned? Because right now, they are gouging people and they are fucking people over and they're getting people addicted to shit because they want their profits. and that's privately owned companies. So I wonder how the feds are pushing shit. Like, are they trying to push medications on people the same way that the privately owned companies are?
Well, you know what? The cannabis culture already has a sense of understanding.
Yeah.
When you're in it, you understand exactly how stuff is gonna affect you. What good weed is, you know what I'm saying? Just THC content, CBD content. You know what I'm saying? Like
They're spraying on the shit.
you have a certain understanding that's gonna allow you to ingest it differently compared to the people who are addicted to it or who are it's being sold to. You know what I'm saying?
Pushed on.
Over here, it's looking like they're trying to actually use it for a real medical agenda. Even though it's ran by the Army has been doing medical shit since the 1800s. So
They've got a history of it.
they're making it make sense, for better words. You know what I'm saying? I can't even complain. Of course it's odd just because of it being an army, but
It's odd to us because I think in America we're so used to the idea of corruption within our military.
Exactly.
And, like, we're so used to the idea of like the feds are not on our side. Like they will import cocaine and give it to the black communities and then arrest them for it. Like we know a little too much about our feds.
exactly. We can't automatically assume that just because our government is corrupt, their government is going to be corrupt too.
Italy and Spain and places like that, like I just imagine it's just so much of a softer culture. Very much more like we're all working together. We're all closed from 1 to 2 because we all need to take a siesta. Like we all, you know what I'm saying? Like
It's different constructs, different paradigms. They gave us a reason on why they're actually using the army. To produce cannabis at a secure facility, understandable.
they can hold it down. They can hold it down.
The armed service has been in the pharmaceutical business for decades, turning out chemical warfare antidotes and malaria pills for soldiers. And that's their reason.
Okay. That's fair. Maryland's transitional period for legalizing cannabis is now in place until recreational legalization takes effect in July, which means there will be no penalty for possession of up to an ounce of flower and just a $100 civil fine for an ounce and a half. Possession of between 1.5 and 2 ounces can get you a $250 fine, and anything over 2 ounces can land you 6 months in jail with a $1,000 fine. Anyone convicted of a marijuana possession can now ask the courts to expunge their sentence once they've completed it. Before 2023, you had to wait 4 years before applying for expungement.
Look, and within those 4 years, if you outside, the odds of you getting in trouble again are how high?
Hey, don't be outside. Hey.
It's kind of hard for that person if they got caught for some shit though. They was outside. Them next 4 years, they probably gonna be doing the same shit, trying to get back on their feet.
It's dangerous to be outside.
Definitely. I could understand why this is taking so long for Maryland, because didn't you just say a couple weeks ago about DC? They don't want to legalize it.
Their voters approved it, but then they never actually implemented their rec system.
So it's definitely going to take a while for Maryland to approve of that too, because they in the same vicinity, ain't they?
They right there, but it's also just a different jurisdiction.
DC runs America, right? So whatever decisions they make are going to affect everywhere.
But they're allowing it to happen in a lot of other places.
The ones that are further away.
It's going to be tough because it's a real bad look if they try to block Maryland shit. They already got a lot of backlash. They put recreational use on their ballot. This was in like 2015 they did this shit. This was like right after Colorado went rec, like early. And then they approved it. It went through, they looked at that shit like, oh, nah, we was just playing. To reverse that and go back now is going to be a shit show.
Yeah, shit show.
I don't think that would go well for them.
No, I don't think so neither. And also, people pay attention. Under the law, all possession charges in that state have to be removed from court by July 1st of 2024. So next year.
They got a year.
Y'all got a whole year. But then once it's in full motion, they have to take that off of y'all's record. Make sure y'all know what's going on.
Straight up. Connecticut just expunged 43,000 people or some shit, and it was automatic. It was like right before rec sales started. So I'm confused on why we're not all doing that. Like, what are they waiting on to like review it for a year before they can expunge it? Shouldn't it just fall into a criteria where it just automatically gets expunged? Why do we need to ask the courts? Like, why aren't you just going to automatically remove everybody who has that charge? It's like a weird thing that Connecticut has the ability to just snap their fingers and everybody's automatically expunged. And then Maryland is like, no, y'all need to come ask us if you want your shit taken off. And we still got like over a year and a half to do this shit.
Like I'm saying, bro, the closer you are to federal areas, and then to top it off, there's a high amount of people that look like us over there.
Connecticut is a very white state.
Very rich state.
Very rich white state. And they just snap their fingers like, y'all good. Nearly 43,000 marijuana records have been automatically cleared in Connecticut, just days before the adult use sales of weed are set to begin. The state's recreational dispensaries will officially open to the public on Tuesday, January 10th at 10 a.m. Rec buyers will be limited to 7 grams of flower per transaction, and edible servings are limited to 5 milligrams. 6 medical dispensaries received hybrid licenses, allowing adult use sales, and 3 new shops opened up, making a total of 9 places to buy weed across the state. It's not very many for a state.
Nah.
And the funny shit is, too, like, they said something about that 5 milligram limit of edibles, but they also said some shit about, like, each edible must be the equivalent of 0.08 grams of flour. Like, what the fuck does that mean? Nobody in this room knows what they talking about.
0.0. Look, we was just talking about that.
Of what flour?
If you're not in it, you're not gonna understand exactly how to word it, or you know what I'm saying, sell it to the people, and they don't know how to sell it to the people.
That shit's weird, bro. Like, it's like they're so hard-headed that they don't even want to bring somebody in who knows what they're talking about. You could literally call somebody from California and show them this, from a lot of legal places, somebody who is in the game.
That dude that was the governor of Colorado, who is in the federal office now, trying to get it legally. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's the person they should be talking to.
Call your boy.
Call him. Like,
call
just real
your boy.
quick. I forgot bro's name, but shout out to him.
Hickenlooper.
That's the dude that's going to actually allow you to word it right, sell it to the people correctly, dose them right, you know what I'm saying? And not have you out here just looking crazy.
Bro, just looking dumb on paper.
So apparently, though, Biden told a couple of other states to follow suit.
Yeah, so I mean, we reported on when Biden put out that statement where he issued federal pardons, right? Which wasn't really what people thought it was in the first place. But then he also issued a statement. He didn't issue a state level. He encouraged at the state level that the governors issue their own pardons, but they're not required to do that. So certain states decided to. So Oregon, Kate Brown decided to do it. California decided to do it. Certain states did it, but like there's other states that are not going. Kansas is not doing it. Louisiana is not doing it. Like there are certain states that are just not going to follow suit because they don't have to. It was just a suggestion, and a lot of them don't even respect President Biden. A lot of these conservative governors are like, nigga, I should have been president. Like, you're trash. So they're not listening to shit that he's talking about.
That's a fact. Let's talk about these states actually monopolizing the dispensaries.
That's something to talk about. If you have 9 dispensaries across a state, you got more than 9 cities. It's very suspect because how is that not a monopoly? You have a whole damn near county or like a couple cities that have to come to you for weed now. Yeah, that could get a little dicey.
I feel like what they did is they saw how these other states maneuvered when it first got legalized. So like, for example, Oklahoma or Oregon.
Yeah. They see the market get flooded out here.
Both of them went crazy. Oregon got dispensaries like fucking corner stores.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
gas stations.
So with that being said, they're like, well, you know what?
Mid stations.
If it's going to maneuver like that, we have to limit the amount of licenses we're giving out, which they do, right? And then actually limit the amount of dispensaries that are going to be possible in the state.
Yeah.
And that right there, I feel like it's crazy, and that's like hindering people's dreams and aspirations.
I think limiting them is one thing, but limiting them as much as they do is crazy. There's no competition. You don't even have to necessarily be competitive.
More retailers are expected to be approved following the January 10th launch. And the expectation is the social equity joint ventures will be the next to come online, where equity applicants partner with existing operators to start their business.
4 people were murdered at a 10-acre grow operation in Oklahoma after an investor in the illegal business demanded his money be returned. Chen Wu, 45 years old, allegedly held 5 workers at gunpoint in a garage on the property of the grow, just outside of Oklahoma City last month. He demanded that $300,000 he had invested into the business be returned within 30 minutes and threatened to kill everyone in the garage if demands weren't met. Wu then allegedly followed through with this threat, killing 4 people and injuring 1 person in an execution-style murder. Court documents indicate that parts of the killing were caught on camera. The man is currently being held in jail with no bond. The company was also found to have a straw owner who agreed to list his name on paperwork for $2,000 a month. They had a fake owner listed on the property, and they were growing illegally this whole time and just had, Chinese workers out there off the books. And then, so we've been talking about Oklahoma. We got a lot to say about Oklahoma. These motherfuckers have been wilding out, going up. Oklahoma. And I've been mad at y'all for a minute.
For a minute. Hey,
I've been really pissed off at y'all for a minute.
People are mad at y'all.
And I don't want to get started on it. And y'all talking about Chinese growers at the same time? Don't get me started on this shit, man. I swear to God.
Chinese
Depths. Bro, shit get me hot.
I find this so crazy how, who got this on camera?
I think they just had a camera in the garage. Because it's a grow facility, so they probably had cameras just for security.
Okay. Is Richard Ignacio, the straw owner, is he some undercover kind of owner, or did they just put him there as like a fake owner?
Fake owner.
Okay.
So they basically found somebody who was a resident, which is what a lot of people are doing, right? So they'll come in from out of state wanting to grow in Oklahoma, but you need to have a certain amount of the people, 1/4 of it needs to be local or some shit. So you need to have a resident who's lived there for X amount of years, right? So a lot of people will they'll go out there, they'll find somebody who is willing to list their name on the business in order to basically get paid for allowing you to run your business, and they just won't be involved, and their name is just listed on the paperwork. And that's what that lawyer did who got in trouble in Oklahoma. He was listing a bunch of people's names that were local residents to get licenses.
Ignacio lent his name to 6 different Oklahoma medical cannabis farms.
Yes. That was happening a lot. Oklahoma has been only medical program, no rec, and they had more grow facilities than any other state in the country that had recreational and medical programs. So y'all should not be growing more weed than places that have 10x your population and also have an adult use program. When you're saying that you're only selling your weed to medical patients, but then there's no metric tracking, so we don't really know where the shit's going. There's no limit on how much you can grow. Y'all paying $1,200 a license, unlimited grow, no cap on how many licenses you can get.
Keep going.
What the fuck is wrong with niggas, bro?
Shit. Hey,
bro,
yo.
I swear to God, it's like a conspiracy. Like they did this on purpose to fuck the weed game up. Yeah. Like that's what it seems like. It's like y'all knew if we just flood the market from right here, you know what I'm saying, with all these, and they got a bunch of country people out there who already farm and are already willing to do shit.
And didn't all this happen during the pandemic?
Within the last 2 years.
Pandemic.
It successfully fucked up the black market, but not to the point where we're dead, but to the point where
the numbers is fucked up.
The numbers is bad, and they hurt people bad, and got a lot of people to shut down their shit.
Not only the black market though, the legal market.
Yeah,
people can't sell their shit right now.
Legal market is hurt too, but I'm looking at it from the Fed standpoint of, okay, we want to federally legalize this, right? How do we maximize how much money we make? When we federally legalize, we need to make our taxes off of this, right? So we can't have all these illegal grows undercutting us, and we're not making taxes off that. So we need to eliminate as much of that as possible, right? So a lot of the legal states right now that are going legal are already eliminating as much as they can of the illegal grows. And it's not so much about them caring about them doing that shit, it's about them wanting that bread. How do we fully fuck people off to where people just don't want to do this anymore?
Yeah.
And I think the best fucking way to do it was what they did. It was literally put no cap on licenses in Oklahoma, which is a centrally located state, right by Texas, right by Kansas, right by fucking, by all these places
That don't fuck with cannabis.
that don't legally fuck with cannabis, but that pay more for weed because it's illegal there. And then after that, they put a moratorium on it. Like, all right, we got to chill. We got to chill. They're like, all right, chill.
Like, come on now, bro.
Fam, there is no way people signed off on that and did not know what was going to happen. And beyond that, with unlimited licenses, there was unlimited canopy space. You could grow as much as you wanted, and the property in Oklahoma is mad cheap. So you could get acres on acres and blow it the fuck up for $1,200 and not have to track any of your shit and not have to test any of your shit.
They had to have seen what happened to Oregon, though. And you're right. They had to know exactly what the fuck was going to happen.
They were, bro, probably the 30-something state to go medical. Like,
They were last.
Y'all watched 30 states go medical and how they ran their programs. And you guys watched how they put caps on things and they used metric tracking and they did all these things, right? And they did none of that.
Shaking my head.
And shout out my nigga Chen Wu. He fucking did that. Them niggas needed to pay my man. And
He ain't playing about his money. Happy New Year, motherfuckers.
we're going to go ahead and spark this up and sign off.